Hello, welcome back. I wrote this one on September 16th last year, 2024. How to tell you, how to ask. I don't know when it all started dissipating. I'm in the city I first learned to appreciate the invisibility of anonymity, prepping for a journey the likes of which I have not attempted yet. Sitting on the precipice of what it feels might be the largest, most beautiful, tumultuous transformation I've experienced yet. I've said for months now that I'm just jumping into the great wide unknown, and here I am, ready to pounce, ready to plummet, ready to soar into everything that looks entirely different from anything I've ever known, and to hopefully see how life is life everywhere. The main difference is how we embrace it or don't. Show me where your love lies, I beg. Show me where your heart has died, and then tell me how resurrection feels. I chose this one because it feels like, it was the beginning of the transformation that I feel like I'm on now. That was the beginning of the end, and I think I'm coming out of the other side of the ending right now. How long did that take? Almost a year? That makes sense. And so it felt appropriate for everything that's been happening in my life. This is another This is another episode from Spirit, who is filling in for me while I'm away at sea. Because I have been going through such a hard time before this. I was having a really hard 6 weeks, and I needed some comfort, needed some guidance, and so I was going into an altered state a lot to get some guidance, to find some comfort, to feel like I wasn't just suffering for no reason, I guess. I don't know. To remind me, solace. That's a good word for it. I needed some solace. And I hope this offers you some as well. There is no harm in getting what you want. You don't need to feel guilty. Going after what you want is part of your divine purpose of this life. Going after what you want takes you all the ways, all the places you need to explore, all the people you need to connect with. There is no wrong way. Each new chapter requires a new way of balance, a new pattern of balance. It is not a failure just because it is not what you expected. Be open to all of the possibilities of how your focus can come into fruition. Be open to all of the side quests that make this story more interesting, while still filtering everything through what you are focused on. Open, but with a goal. Open, but with a focus. Open, but with the protection that inherently comes with having a strong sense of self. Everything you interact with is supposed to be there. It builds. It leads you where you need to go. It takes you to who you need to be and who you need to see. You can trust that when you feel a true calling, that is where you're meant to go. That is what you're meant to follow. It does not mean you're meant to get it. It does not mean it's meant to turn out the exact way you think it will. It means you need to experience the story, the journey, and everything you learn along the way. You can't know, so don't try to control. You won't know, so don't try to predict. The foundation of how you interact with this life is based on what you believe. And you can change what you believe at any time. In fact, you're probably supposed to. The main truth in the mystery is change. You often know what you need to do. You either don't trust it, or you don't want to do it. You can't predict the future, so why waste the present trying? It is always better to speak your feelings rather than quiet them down. It's always better to express yourself, because then there's more room for other people to express. There are some things that are too heavy to hold, and that's why we must carry them together. There are some things that we will never understand, and that's why we must work through them together. Isolation and separation rarely do any good. You grow in community. You can't grow as much alone. You can't hide from the truth, no matter how long you try. Follow what you feel and make the best out of what comes to fruition. You mustn't fight to keep the familiar if it's trying to fall away. If you don't have a focus, if you don't have your own focus, you will be focused by something else. If you don't have a say in where you're going and what you're doing, someone else is controlling you. If you don't listen to your intuition, someone else is leading you. Something else. You can only know the next right step. You can only know where your foot will fall when the ground needs to catch you. You can always trust in your ability to navigate a situation. You don't need to look for control when you know how to move. When you try to control, it shows you don't trust. When you try to control and predict and manipulate, it shows you don't trust. Always still do everything you can in pursuit of your dreams. Everything that is immediately possible to you. But without an expectation of a certain outcome, without control, without anxiety. Do with the joy of doing. The only way out is through. It's not often you can avoid what you fear. The question will be asked, even if you avoid it. What you avoid also has power over you. When you do something out of spite, you're angry. Just the thought of someone upsets you. They have so much power over you. They are controlling you. What kind of experience do you want to have? What kind of life do you want to live? You must ask these questions to reclaim responsibility of your life. The responsibility also comes with a great weight of realizing your life is yours. And as much as you have to surrender to your environment, you are not a sole product of your environment. You have agency, you have choice. You can change your life if it's not what you want. You have agency, you have choice. By allowing something else to make decisions for you, by allowing something else to control you, when you know you don't want it, it's giving up the responsibility of your life. Pay attention to the bumps in the road. They give you a moment to redirect yourself, to choose a new way. They also give you a moment of clarity, because when there's tension and you know what you want, you can think of it like a question, an opportunity to reinforce your choice in yourself. an opportunity to reinforce your trust in the path that you feel like you need to follow. An opportunity to take responsibility for your life. The way out is through. A back door will only bring you back to the same spot you were in before. Side door could stay open for a few years. But we'll end up falling in, end up closing, end up being inaccessible. The way through clears the way for people behind you as well. The way through is an adventure. It's drawing a new map. If you don't know why, you don't need to know how. When you have such a strong desire that you have to follow it without even knowing why, the how will find its way. The how will show itself to you. The light will find its way to you. If you keep your eyes open enough to see it. Love is always trying to show itself to you. You have to stop and you have to stop for long enough to see it. You can't rush love. Be open to the how. We love you just the way you are. The only thing wrong with you is thinking that something's wrong with you. You're supposed to be this way. You're supposed to be living these stories, mulling over these morals. Explaining your ethics, exploring your ethics. Creating your story. The best way for you to interact with a scenario is the way that you would interact with it. There seems to be a belief that some other version of you could handle it better, or someone else. But if they were meant to make the final decision on how this situation would be handled, they would be handling it. It would be in their life. It would be a part of their story. You know the best way for you. I hope something of that resonated for you. I hope it helped you feel seen. I hope it helped you feel less alone. That's what it always does for me. When you're reminded of how you're connected with everything, it feels like nothing is really that bad. That might just be me. Much love to you always.